What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red. It's Clash. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. This is Reddit Talks Clash here today. Joining us, Asher, probably the most preeminent builder base player in the world, the most famous builder base player in the world.
Yeah, let's go team.
Among the top players, right?
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. No, you don't got to be shy, man. I think you're you're probably the only builder base player most people can name.
Yeah, there's that. I thought you were just going to say only builder-based player, but yeah, it is true.
No, I mean, being first, even out of 12 or so, is still first. Something to be proud of.
Yeah. No, wait, what? Sorry, I just realized what you said.
Yeah, let's do the normal thing though, and so for people who, like I've never heard, a little bit of your background, your story. What got you into Clash? What got you into Builder Base? And then a little bit about what got you into YouTube too. If you could walk us through that.
Yeah, we can get onto this journey. I started playing Clash of Clans when I was like 9 because everyone else at my school was playing it as well. So, I hopped on that train, and then everyone stopped playing it except for me. So I just kept doing it, and I wasn't ever really great at it because I was so young when I started. But when Builder Base 1.0 came out in 2017, I was like just at the age where I could like start to understand how to play without being clouded by being young. I wasn't really great. But that's how I actually got into the Builder Base, was in 1.0. And became a big Galadon guy back then. And call me crazy, but I crushed some Galadon back when I was 13, playing Builder Base 1.0. Had like a top 400 finish, which is pretty rough. But I stopped playing a little bit after 1.0 and then mained the home village. That would push in the home village quite a bit. In Town Hall 12, I used to play with this clan called Proc. I very, very briefly played with them. I ended up leaving them to go join Clash Bashing's clan as well. I've played a lot more competitively in Clash of Clans. I don't really enjoy upgrading things, which is actually why the builder base works out pretty well, because God knows they're not gonna give us anything to upgrade anytime soon. And then Clash Bashing kicked me from his clan because I one-starred. Life's tough, and then I was doing heavy trophy pushing in the home village, and my best finish I think was like top 2,800, and I was about to try and go sicko mode, and then Builder Base 2.0 dropped, and then I found it way more interesting the way it worked, because I felt like it was more intentional, whereas in the home village you can make a lot of mistakes. In the Builder Base you had to be more intentional and understand how you're playing, and it just felt more interactive and enjoyable to me. And I was kind of at the privilege to have already a maxed Builder Hall 9, so once I started playing 2.0 when it came out, I just stopped doing anything else, and then I made a YouTube channel. Obviously, my first videos are like Minecraft, but I started doing Builder Base 2.0, not even of me, but of other players, because I was actually still quite bad. And then when those did really well, I was like, oh, this is sick, let's keep doing this. And then I just kept doing it, kept trying to learn, and kept getting better at the game itself until I could actually do videos of myself, and then just never really stopped playing the Builder Base and never went back to home village. I guess that's pretty much how it went.
Yeah, so you just completely given up on the home village now, yeah?
Yeah, my battle bank or whatever you get from the gold pass was 0 in the home village as well as in the Builder Base, because my storages are maxed there. I don't do any home village attacks.
What town hall's your main account then?
It's Town Hall 16. It was, I want to say, a max Town Hall 15 apart from all the walls, because the extra wall update came out after 2.0, so I just, I abandoned it. And it's just basically a max Town Hall 15 with the Town Hall 16. Like I don't really have many things from Town Hall 16. I don't even have like ricochet cannons or any of that.
Oh wow.
Do you ever plan on upgrading to Town Hall 17, or are you going to leave it as a 16?
I mean, I think I'm going to leave it 16 just because I don't want to get more rushed. Although I really don't think, obviously, unless Builder Base gets removed, I don't really see myself going back to the home village. So I'm not really worried about upgrading it. It just seems like a tedious thing to do when I could be playing some awesome, enjoyable builder base instead.
I was gonna ask you about those old videos, but you kind of covered it, yeah. Because it was like looking back, you have videos going back like 4 years, and it's just there's like a Minecraft one, like a couple Clash Royale things, and then it was right when the Builder Base 2.0 came out, and then it's just like nonstop Builder Base from then on.
Yeah, I mean, my first video I think on my channel is actually one I recorded back when I was in Clash Bashing's clan Mad Ram, and it was like some spinner challenge, which I guess I'll break the news here was rigged. I spun the spinner until I got the attack I wanted, and then or the strategy I wanted, and then did that strategy.
Content creators lying on camera?
Yeah, I know. It's
No,
crazy.
no way. All right.
I reveal my secret right there. If you guys want a quick 400 views, that worked for me.
But okay, so like I mean, it sounds like it was the revamp that really is what when you got really into Builder Base.
Yeah.
Like comparing the revamp to the original version, like what do you think the revamp did well?
Well, to a degree, I feel like it's hard for me to really give it an unbiased opinion because I wasn't really great at Builder Base 1.0, but I do
Well, I mean, no
personally
one was.
believe. Yeah, I mean, some people were like, I don't know. I feel like it was always spammy, although, that might just be me looking at it and assuming it's spammy, but it feels like in 2.0, it opened the door for more strategy. Now there is still spam that persists, and it's very annoying. As a matter of fact, it's there's a lot of people just play two strategies, and they're just the two spammy strategies, and that's really annoying. But I feel like it's more difficult to get away with just being a spam player, and it demands more strategy, especially up top. And I don't really know what 1.0's meta was like because I only played during Builder Hall 7. I don't know if they had as much of a meta where you needed to like change strategy every attack or avoid traps or do a lot of these necessary things that you had to do now in 2.0. But I feel like in 2.0, if like you need like defending is a skill, attacking is a skill, you have to switch strategy. I feel like it demands more strategy and it rewards skill more so than I feel like 1.0 did. And I think it is easier to understand than 1.0, but it is still very difficult to learn. Because I feel like if you do something, it'll, like, if you put your troop here, it's going to go the same place every time. Where in 1.0, I feel like a lot of it was, you had 100 barbarians you could use, and without really understanding where all of them were going to go. And 2.0, like you understand where everything's usually going to go. I don't know if that really made sense.
Yeah, it did. Like the original Builder Base definitely could get a lot spammier, and I don't think it required as much thought on each attack. Like you could just do 24 baby drags, and they didn't have an ability, but as long as you sprinkled them in, kept them spread out, and you could probably triple most BH9s.
I forgot you could actually do that.
I did a lot.
Crazy thought to me.
Like, I did a lot of dropship minions, and that was just pure spam. That was just drop 4 dropships. Like maybe you could spread them out to make a little bit of a funnel, but really just pure spam, and that worked real well. Not that I ever pushed, but is there anything that you remember from the original version of Builder Base that you kind of miss or wish was still around?
Versus battles, I actually do wish we still had because the way you gain trophies right now is incredibly difficult. I also miss the difficulty, at least, where I don't like want it to be the same way. Reason it's difficult. Like 1.0 was difficult because it was really like hard to be precise, whereas in this I would rather it be more difficult, like more defenses or something. I miss that it was harder to get a perfect attack because now it's so easy to get a perfect attack that it's really hard to gain trophies. You can play for an hour and gain nothing, and it's really annoying when, let's say, you do 9 perfect attacks and fail your 10th one that you lose trophies. Of course, no one can play perfectly all the time. So I miss the difficulty of 1.0. I wish 2.0 would at least make stage 2 a little bit more difficult so you can reasonably have a skill gap. Like people clear stage 1 up here with 1 minion after spamming dropships and minions and barely get stage 2 down, get a 6-star, and even though you did a really clean attack, you end up gaining nothing and they end up losing nothing. So it's hard to establish a skill gap as a result. And in the other regard, versus battles, I don't know. I think it would be harder to win trade. They had a system where you couldn't match up against the same person over and over again. I don't necessarily hate the current meta. I'm guessing you may not know. The meta in the builder base is basically someone attacks you, and then you move all of your traps to bait their approach. I don't necessarily hate that. I find it like kind of annoying, but also technically it does take skill. I just feel like I would rather it be more about not trying to trap your opponent, but more about trying to be a better attacker overall. But that can't be that way unless they make it more difficult.
You're just saying like up at the very top, it's such a small pool of players that you find yourself facing the same people over and over again. So you're just really like trying to exploit their experience on a layout already and just try and just trick them essentially because they've seen that base before.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Usually you'll face the same player. Whenever I play late at night, I'll play the same guy over like 15 matches, and it's this guy named Azo. He only knows 2 attack strategies, and so I just sit there and I just bait 50% of the time one strategy and 50% time the other strategy, and just hope he falls for it. And he usually ends up falling for it and not gain trophies. But he shouldn't be up that high. In the first place is the thing. I just dislike that he's able to continuously get that high up. Now, granted, he also is win trading again, but that's neither here nor there, I guess.
Yeah. We'll get back into the into the cheating stuff closer to the end. So we can come back.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
I just wanted to keep it a little more broad at first, and then we'll start narrowing down into what the problem is. But like I guess I'll tell you what my problems are with builder base, and you can tell me like how I'm wrong or at least how you disagree, because I know it's opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I guess first of all, like, why do you think builder base isn't like more popular?
I think it's just really hard to get into because you can't really enjoy the builder base attacking mechanics unless you're like a max builder hall 10, because there's very mismatched trophy attacks. Mismatched attacks. Let's say you're a builder hall 7, you're going to usually get matched up against like a builder hall 8, 9, or 10. So until you're completely maxed out and they can't have an advantage over you, you're not going to really be able to fairly attack or learn how to attack. And also because no one really cares about the builder base, all the bases are so bad. It's confusing, but all the base layouts are so bad that good strategies don't actually really work on them. So you have to like learn a lot of weird approaches and a lot of bad approaches to beat those bases. And then once you get to like 5.5k, then you have to learn actually good approaches. So I feel like it's hard to get into because there's such a large wall to cross.
It really is. That's kind of my biggest beef with builder base too, is that like it feels almost like Clash, but it's different from the home village. I don't know that any of my skills in the home village actually translate into builder base success too. Like, I understand the concept of funneling, but the troops are so different that like funneling doesn't really work the same. And you only have 6 troops and a useless hero to do that. It just doesn't click. I always see you talking about like how easy it is and trading 6 stars, and I'm sure that's right. But it also feels like to get to that point, like the learning curve is really steep. I assume it just kind of clicks for people at a point, and then it just is like it's flat, and it's just, hey, I can beat pretty much anything, and then you have to rely on weird cheap tricks to continue to win. And I don't really have interest in doing that. Like I would like to be a better builder base player. I've been trying to use a lot of the tips that you've told me when I do occasionally play it, but also it's just I don't know. It's weird. It's almost Clash, and it's different enough. Like I understand it needs to be different, to be interesting and part of the same game. But I don't know. I wish there was more overlap in the way it felt, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that.
And the heroes, man, like it's 35 and 30 levels of the heroes, right?
Yep.
You get 30 builder man and 35 chopper.
Well, sorry, they're both 35.
Are they both 35? Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But man, they don't feel like they do anything.
Oh wow.
Every time, like maybe I'm using them wrong, and I don't know. And this is back to my point that I don't know that my
Okay.
my skills translate to builder base too. I expect my hero to do more, and
Yeah.
they just feel like an additional troop. Like I have an additional ranged troop, and I have an additional tank troop, but their abilities don't really feel impactful.
I can't lie to you. They are the strongest troop in the builder base. It comes to you have to learn how to, well, I guess they're not a troop, but they are the strongest part of any army, the heroes. They're very good. It's just it's a little difficult to learn how to use them. And you are right. A lot of it doesn't translate over to because there isn't any overlap except for let's say archers and barbarians are the only things where they're gonna pretty much do what you would do in the home village. Nothing is really intuitive in the builder base, so it almost just it's so much to learn. It's just learning an entirely new game that even once you get to maxed out, like there's no reason to learn it. There's no benefit to learn it. But yeah, that is true. I almost forgot to consider that part. That I guess a lot of people may not be interested in that, and I think it appeals to more competitive players, but also a lot of those competitive players, like I say, like stars, for example, they aren't going to play that because they're not going to make anything off of it, you know?
Yeah,
I don't play the builder base that often, but I mean, I find the chopper pretty useful, Rick. So like I mostly attack with air, and that actually makes me want to ask Asher, like, do you always start out with like the first village with the battle machine and then you switch to chopper, or is it always different depending on the base?
90% of the time I use the helicopter. The only situation you use the battle machine would be with P.E.K.K.A.s or a very specific other strategy. But the helicopter is usually the best because you can take out half the base with a baby dragon and the battlecopter, or two baby dragons even, but it's very strong. So usually that one. And then
I get how it's strong. Like the range is insane, and it's untouchable by half the defenses. Like I understand
yeah.
the utility of it, but like I don't think I've been trained for over a year now, like even really longer, but mostly since equipment. That like hero abilities go off and it matters. and
Oh, yeah.
and like the ability of the battlecopter is, does it do anything?
It does actually. It has an incredibly large range.
Like I've never seen it once destroy a building that wasn't like 90% dead. It doesn't feel like it does anything, and it's weird, and I don't like it.
So here's what I do like about that actually is I very much so dislike hero equipment because it feels like you're just putting all of your eggs in one basket where it's like if the heroes die, the attack fails, which granted is usually true for builder base too, but I like that in the builder base, it isn't like a one-trick pony. The heroes need to be used in a certain way. So with the battlecopter, it's true. His ability doesn't take down any building except for army camps and hero altars, but if you use the battlecopter ability, it has a range of, I want to say, 4 tiles. So it will hit a very large amount of buildings, and then two baby dragon abilities will take out all those buildings. So you can instantly just take out a huge chunk of the base with two baby dragons in the battlecopter.
I know it's so weird that like I know you're like for its ability to be useful, you just said I had to use a third of my army as well,
Yeah.
like in conjunction with it, and like yeah, that adds strategy to it, well, at least with baby drags. But I don't know, it's like oh, it's weird. It doesn't feel valuable to me.
I think it demands a lot more intentionalness. Like, you have 6 troops. Usually you're only going to have 6 troops. Maybe you'll bring in archers, so you'll have 4 archers, but you need to use those 6 troops and the hero to take out the whole base. And I think it's very interesting the way that works, where in the home village you have like 300 something troops. You can let some troops die. You can throw a P.E.K.K.A down for not even really care about it. The hero just will carry everything. But I very much so like how much more the builder base relies on skill and planning and foresight of where things are going to go, and it doesn't just rely on a very overpowered hero. Granted, builder base players who are hearing this might find that stupid because it actually does kind of rely on overpowered heroes. They're very strong, but it doesn't rely as much on overpowered heroes. It relies on like skill and how to use the heroes correctly and how to pair them correctly and where to use their abilities to get the most value and how to use troops with their abilities to get the most value. Like it just demands a little bit more thought than I believe the home village does. And I
Yeah.
might be biased because I kind of quit home village in Tunnel 16, which was just terrible. But I think
No,
it's
no, it's good. It's good. Yeah, no, it feels like you're gaslighting me about Heroes. Like this
yeah,
is.
No,
dude.
no, Chopper definitely feels overpowered, Rick. I mean,
I feel
Oh
like
no,
I'm a
no, no.
I'm a casual player, and all I do is spam, so I'm probably using one of the two spam strategies. But I feel like my chopper saves me 98% of the time.
it seems
Speaking of
so strong.
Yeah, speaking of spam strategies, actually, Asher, what were the two main spam strategies you mentioned that most
So
people use?
their dropships and minions is still very big, and then P.E.K.K.A.s are also very annoying. P.E.K.K.A.s are just so extremely overpowered because of the battle machine, um, and P.E.K.K.A.s themselves are strong.
Hmm.
So those are just very spammy strategies, which you can just kind of throw them down. They're very difficult to trap, and they beat everything really. If you
Fair,
so
fair, yeah.
the reason people use them is if you use P.E.K.K.A.s and someone uses all ground bombs to trap you, then the same player will just switch to dropship and minions, and then there's no air bombs. So it's a very annoying combination
Back
of
and
troops to
forth,
use.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean that's all what I really don't like about Builder Base 2. So on the flip side of that coin, I thought we'd talk about all the things that I do really like about it.
Oh yeah. Let's dive into it.
I do like that there's a lot of different kind of styles of attacks you can do. There's a nice variety of troops for it, especially for how small it feels. Um,
Yeah.
Especially after the revamp too, where you get kind of like where you got free levels for stuff. It makes you can get to a new builder hall and you don't have to do 15 levels of something anymore to be able to use it. It's that was a real nice way to streamline it during the revamp. And I also really like that it's still flexible for a lot of different playstyles. Like if you are really not interested in it all that much, you don't have to touch it beyond getting the 6 builder.
Right.
You don't have to do that in the first place anyway, just to be pedantic about it. But I don't know, it's nice that it's there. It's an option for clan games. It's an option to mix in, for the season challenges and everything. It's Liam, how many of your accounts are you playing Builder Base on? Like, are you getting the builder?
Actually, all of them. Yes,
Ooh.
but the main reason for that is mostly because for me, I found the quickest way to finish clan games. So I literally only do clan game challenges on all my accounts, and then to do them
Asher
faster, I
just got
have to
excited
have
for no reason.
I actually have to like get build to hell 10 on all of them to finish clan games faster. But yeah, tell us more about your excitement, Asher.
Well, that's definitely one way to play database.
Like you're high enough in trophies to where you probably don't notice any changes during clan games, right?
Yeah, no one's gonna just do
Yeah.
6 bombers up here.
Like I know, like it's one of the like random little tip I picked up a long time ago too, is like a lot of people on Reddit will come on and ask like, hey, I'm really close, I just can't get over 3,000 for the for the achievement because it's like 1,000 gems. And just tell them like, dude, just spam, like wait until clan games the first day, and then just spam everything super fast. Like you can win 10 attacks in the time it takes one guy who's like searching for a multi-mortar on your base, and you can get an extra 200-300 right then, and then don't worry about it because you only have to cross it for half a second.
Yeah, that's a good strategy actually. Yeah, what's ironic is I don't play clan games. You would think for being like the database guy.
If you only care about builder base and you're already maxed, there's literally nothing they could offer you, right? Like
Yeah,
to motivate you to do something else. Like there's no reason.
yeah. I mean, I don't care about home village, so
Yeah.
I'm already happy where I am.
Okay. Let's move on. So you had probably like my favorite all time builder base video a couple months ago. This is a hard list to get onto, I know, but
No,
in it
certainly.
in it you talked about like all the problems with builder base 2.0.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and in it I don't want to just rehash the whole video. I'll link it in the notes. But you kind of went through like the 7 big problems for builder base, and like I'll read them off to you, but we don't have to go point by point.
That's perfect.
So,
I'd
like,
like to actually look them up.
what I want to ask though is like, what do you think are the most important ones that the Clash team really needs to tackle, like as a priority too? So just to refresh your own memory, you said bad farming, that it takes forever. Bad matchmaking, bad progression, the bugged leaderboard. There's a complete lack of anything competitive. Just stage 2 as a whole, you said was a problem, and that there's no overall purpose to the builder race too. So, what do you think the biggest problems of those are?
Definitely the first three. I feel like the bugged leaderboards and the no competitive stage two, no purpose, etc. I think those are all definitely more of what's going to affect the people who are already like deep into the builder base. Granted, I feel like maybe a purpose also is a very important one to figure out, but certainly making better farming, matchmaking, and making progression easier is how people will actually get into the game. Because without any of those things, obviously no one's gonna play. Like if it takes probably like a couple of years, maybe a few years to get to Builder Hall 10, max it out, and it's a really annoyingly tedious grind. Like no one's gonna even get to the point where the leaderboards are bugged or there's no purpose or stage two is too easy. Like that's not gonna really matter to them. So definitely they need to change it to where it's easier for people to actually get into it initially. And then of course they should fix the other game breaking bugs that they've yet to fix. But definitely those first three.
All right, we'll talk a little more in depth with those first three then. So farming, like man, it takes forever to farm. So
Terrible.
you are strongly incentivized to force quit the game and essentially not play it.
Yeah. That's
Like if
it's so fast to do it that way.
for gameplay that has a lot of other flaws that hold it back, it's still wild to me that like they've created a system where the optimal way to play it is to essentially not play it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really a no-brainer that it should have some sort of incentive. Like in the home village, you can't just force quit because you need to get your goblins, for example, to elixir storages or whatever. But in the builder base, since you get uh, elixir, gold, whatever from defenses and attacks, like how well you did, well then, what's the point of doing anything if you could just spam and get that? Like there needs to be a more intentional incentive to where someone can say, "Oh, I need to take down this building to get this resource or whatever." But unfortunately, I don't know. I think there's just no real focus able to be on Bitterbase for that. But it's definitely such a just crazy grind right now to even get enough to start an upgrade at like Builder Hall 5.
I wouldn't, but you also wouldn't prefer the old way, right? Where basically all the loot was through like the daily star bonus.
Well, I mean, it's not much different. I definitely wouldn't prefer it.
You know, they've said they want the star bonus to still be meaningful, and it is, but it's not useless to continue playing past then either. Like the loot is
Yeah.
worse, but it's not nothing because it still makes sense to spend 20 minutes force quitting 60 times.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of found it like funny when they announced it, they're like infinite loot, and then it was like 20,000 at the highest level for every attack. Like, if they were to maybe multiply that by five, it would be more logical. I feel like if it was five times more, then maybe that would actually be like a good amount, but like it's just nowhere near what it needs to be right now for it to be useful. And you know, I keep harassing them to try and change that. So hopefully I can see something with that soon.
The upgrade times are really what slows down progression more than anything else, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I mean they're just like such a great combo to slow down progression. Like if you have to farm like for less time and you just have to ignore it for the same amount of time as right now, I feel like people would be more willing to do a less amount of work and then just wait rather than more amount of work and less of a wait. So I feel like making it easier to get resources would be more important than making it shorter once they get the resources. Grant, I would like to see both, of course, but I think getting the resources is just such a headache right now. That's probably what is hurting most people, not the upgrade times, which are also important.
And then matchmaking, which I do like, I agree is probably the biggest problem that's preventing people from getting into it too, is because it's
Yeah,
so punishing to newer, lower builder hall players.
and then you just get destroyed by like a bitter hot time.
Like
It's pretty
I know,
rough.
like I feel so bad too because you know I'm mostly a clan games kind of player these days,
Oh,
Yeah, I lose a lot. Like I'll get, destroy one lab or destroy one thing on the outside of a base, so I get 5% and a quit. So I lose a lot of trophies, and then that means I'm lower, and I'm totally maxed, and someone else who might actually want to play has to now fight me.
yeah,
It's
it's
it
pretty rough.
it's so discouraging, and it makes loot harder for them. And yeah, I don't know. Like there is builder hall based matchmaking very low, right? I
What?
want to say like only, but
Like,
wasn't it only for the first couple, like up to builder hall 3 or 4 or something? It goes away real quick.
yeah, I would say, well, not even. I mean, you'll face people who are like Bitter Hall 6 at Bitter Hall 3. You know, I see photos of people at Bitter Hall 3 facing maxed Bitter Hall 10s. I don't think it really exists anywhere. I think it's just once you get to like 1,500 trophies, you're going to start facing more Bitter Hall 7s and 2,000 more Bitter Hall 8s. And then it just escalates into like 2,500 and it's just all Bitter Hall 10s.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
see a lot of people complaining on the subreddit as well, saying like, how is this fair facing a bit of Halton? And also, I think it's purely based on trophies, as far as I know.
You had what I thought was a really interesting idea to how to fix that. Essentially, similar to Clash Royale, how once you enter like a league or their arenas in Clash Royale, right, where
oh,
you can't really go back down
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
where
No, I
like
did think that is a
yeah,
good idea too.
like if
So I
you're
forgot about that one.
like if you're good enough to reach a certain threshold, you shouldn't be able to drop at least significantly lower than that.
I think that's actually a great point.
I've been thinking all morning, man. I can't poke a hole in that.
I completely forgot I ever said that. That's actually, I was kind of cooking with that. I need to remind them about that idea.
I mean, aren't you stuck there for then forever? Like you can't ever go back down?
Well, why would you need to go back down, is the question.
Well, to farm or to, practice your skills, or I don't know, if you get bored of.
Loot scales up with you
Yeah.
as you go up though. So
Oh
like
yeah, no, that makes sense.
like hey, maybe you could have just one hell of a run and promote before you're realistically ready, but you have a short window of time where it's going to suck, and then your upgrades catch up, and then you're fine again, and you can continue maintaining or climbing after that.
Me.
Hmm.
I think that actually be like a really good implementation to
Yeah.
avoid all the mid-laner menaces.
I know, like you should probably write up a big long, proposal, and then cast that out into the void for no one to listen to it.
Yeah, I post like an uncle on Twitter in that suggestions channel, man. No one sees the stuff I write.
I do gotta say, like, man, all y'all don't know, like, this man here, Asher, is so dedicated to trying to get a better version of the builder base out to us, and it's I don't know, like I like reading all your ideas, even if I don't agree with all of them. Sometimes, for the most part, I do. I'll tell you. But then, oh man, it's discouraging to me
Oh
to
yeah.
see you just continually like lob awesome ideas out just to have at most someone be like, yeah, that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, to a degree, I don't even know why I still do it, but I mean, I guess for the love of the game, you know. I
Yeah,
have them all in a notes app somewhere where I just copied and pasted everything I've ever said, and I just like scrolled through it one day just to see how long it was. It's pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie. Sitting there scrolling for a while.
yeah, dude, you keep fighting the good fight, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm
Uh,
trying. Yeah, and
All
that doesn't
right,
even
so
count like the DMs. I'll just like say, you know what, I'm tired, and just like directly message a developer and be like, hey, we should do this, and then get into conversations there.
yeah, no, and like I guess I should clarify too, because there absolutely are people there who care,
Yeah,
and want to hear ideas and engage back with people when they give suggestions too. It's just hey, like there's a lot of awesome ideas I hear too. I just don't have any authority or ability to act on them, and I think that's a lot of what is happening there. It's just it can't be a priority or even on the bottom of that list somewhere. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
do you think Builder Base is savable, like in its
Oh,
current form,
absolutely.
or do you think it needs like another massive Builder Base 3.0 type of overhaul?
Well, right now the problem isn't with how like the gameplay is, which I feel like is the hardest thing to get right. I feel like the problem is just with the system itself, where, there are those seven big problems. None of those seven big problems had anything to do with the gameplay. It was all with like the bad matchmaking, progression, etc. So I think that if they were to just devote a good chunk of time. My goal I would like to have them reach is to just get it to a place where they can ignore it sustainably, where there's like, like make it good enough to then be ignored for a few more years instead of leaving it like half finished and then ignoring it for a few years. But I feel like it's incredibly balanced. Like there are very overpowered things, and stage two is very weak, but that can be fixed pretty easily. All the troops are really well balanced. There's a lot of interesting combinations. They did really well with the gameplay portion. They just have yet to make the system itself really work well. So that's really all
Oh,
they need to do. But
yeah, no, that you just remind me of something too. Like talking about Drew Balance, like a year ago or so, I saw you drop a suggestion for a balance change, and they basically just implemented it in the next update, like right away. The dropship one.
yeah, well, actually, no. I had to suggest that for 6 months, but
Oh, okay.
um,
Maybe I just saw the one.
yeah, it was pretty bad. But I did add it, and boy, am I thankful. People were just using six drops. Some guy got a number five finish using six drop ships. It was, and just surrounding the base with him. And that took 6 months, or maybe not, multiple months. I don't, maybe not six, but way too long of me just sending them multiple replays. Like, yep, he's still doing it, and it took forever. But that makes me almost want to send another one of those. But honestly, the problem isn't even the troops right now. The problem is just stage two is just so weak. They just need to. I keep asking them to remove one reinforcement camp stage two for people above like 6,000 trophies or something, because that would fix
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Like it would have to be like some version of like only in the builder based legends, above 5K, or
Yeah,
somewhere, because losing a reinforcement camp would kill any chance I have of 6 stars.
yeah. No, I mean honestly, it would kill a lot of people's chances.
Like it would kill my chance of 4 stars.
Okay, well that I think that's really starting to make you not look good at the game, but. Yeah, I would love to see that because I mean, honestly, think about it. Why should the game standardize perfection? Perfection should be something that you like strive to get, but don't expect always to get, you know? It's so easy to get a perfect score that you can't separate yourself from players who are just so much worse than you. So I would love to just see them remove one reinforcement camp. I'm gonna definitely harass them about that tomorrow. I
Just
find that messaging them on weekdays works better for me, but.
just builder base hard mode.
Yes, yes, motor-based hard mode. I mean, like that, like for I don't even know what to change stage two. Like you need to add like another roaster, a drop ship, not drop ship, another roaster, an archer tower, like some crazy defenses, or just remove one reinforcement camp. So I feel like one's way easier than the other.
All right, let's move on. Cheating in builder base, I guess. The cheating
Yeah,
is how, like, I lump these kind of two things together. They might be fundamentally different. So as I understand it, there's essentially two big issues.
yeah.
There's win trading, and there's trophy inflation. Somehow people are they doing this on purpose, where they manipulate something and then just aren't taking defenses, especially on the last day. So like I probably explained that wrong. Like, so you walk me through how it works, I guess.
So inflation it only affects like the people up top. Well, not even that. It can happen below up top, but it usually doesn't result in anything major. In the last day of the season, you're able to just, if you do non-stop attacks, you can sometimes reach a point where you just stop taking defenses. And it isn't really something you can do. Like, you can do it intentionally just by like playing non-stop, but also, people just play non-stop anyway. They're not trying to inflate. So it kind of just sporadically happens, and yeah, so people will get thousands of trophies without taking defenses and get top 10 finishes, sometimes top two, three finishes, like insane finishes just because they don't take defenses. Win trading definitely is a little bit less accidental.
So
That one's like the major one. I think actually not major. I feel like inflation might be worse than it just because it's more prevalent, but win trading sucks a lot.
yeah, I know. Like, so how prevalent is win trading then in the builder base leaderboards?
Well, I mean, usually not that bad. I want to say there's been five win traders in total, and one of the win traders, like all the people who win traded before, let me think. One guy technically did it twice. and then all the others did it just one time. And I guess one of them didn't necessarily win trades. It's a long explanation, but then there's this one guy who has done it 5 times, and he's still doing it this season. So I would say there's usually one each season, and we're only recently starting to get people to actually get banned for it. Although, it's not like super quick for that to happen, but I'm hoping that this one guy will get banned.
Like how are you how are you determining that someone is win trading then? I guess to be all
Well,
allegedly, you know.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of he said, she said for a lot of it. And so the top builder based players are nerds, believe it or not. And so they'll just sit there, just no life, watch the leaderboards and look at who gains and who loses at the same time. And then if everyone knows each other in the builder base community because no one plays the builder base. So let's say there's like an unknown, man, he's doing it again. Sorry, I'm just looking at the leaderboards now. Say there's an unknown player who just comes out of nowhere, and then he starts losing trophies, and this guy who's starts gaining trophies, people like will watch that and see that happen, and then they'll just look at it over time and immediately message me like 30 times about it, and then I have to sit there and like try and figure it out too. But usually if someone reports it, I don't even know how they figure it out, but they're usually right. And then once someone does it one time, then it becomes like really easy to figure out if they're doing it again because it's just very easy to assume they're doing it again. But
So probably just seeing any large trophy swings up there is
yeah,
probably significant, right? No, is it just people having multiple accounts and win trading against their own accounts, or is it more like what happens in Legends?
no, it's always. I mean, sometimes some guy will have like his friend give him some trophies, which is definitely more difficult to track. But it's usually like, for example, this one guy named Chan84 and this other account named Master Chan both would gain and lose at the same time, so that was pretty easy. There's one guy named Azo with his other account named Azo would also gain and lose at the same time. Like it's all really they really suck at hiding it. Like it's pretty bad, but it's usually just one guy on his account and just like no friends
Yeah.
playing builder base with it by himself.
Well, is there a big need to hide it too? Is it like does Supercell act like decisively on?
There have been 3 stolen number 1 finishes that were a result of win trading, but the last 2 win traders have been banned. So I guess that precedent currently seems like it'll work out well. But again, 3 people have gotten away with it so far. I'm hoping that they'll get banned. I would say there's always a reason to hide it. Like, not to say that I would win trade, but if I would, I definitely wouldn't do it like that. Obviously, I don't know why they don't try and hide it more, but I'm hoping to get this guy banned permanently again.
All right, yeah. Like there's not like a gem reward for a high finish. It's only like the
No,
prestige of having that on your profile,
yeah,
right?
just clout and depression. That's all you really get.
All right. Okay, let's move on. There's an idea I see just constantly that builder base could be saved or improved by adding more home village tie-ins or rewards. Similar to like the six builder, how you use builder base as the arena to where you fight and earn something for the village that you really care about. So like ore mines are the things I've always seen like tossed out the most, or more gear ups, or some crazy people want to use builder base as like the war draw tiebreaker for some reason. I don't know. Do you
What?
think I've seen wild stuff? Like, do you think that the path to revitalizing builder base is through more home village tie-ins?
Personally, no. I don't think it would hurt, obviously. I wouldn't hate to see ore mines or any of those things be added in, but I feel like, you're just going to run into another 6 builder situation where people feel forced to play the builder base, so they're not really going to enjoy playing. I mean, maybe they'll enjoy it, but I feel like they're just going to feel again like, I have to do it for the home village. I feel like if you want to save the builder base, you have to make it so people enjoy playing the builder base for the builder base. So That's why I don't jump at the idea of like, oh, let's figure out another home village incorporation because I feel like it doesn't really add anything to the builder base. It just gives people another like requirement to get something out of it.
Yeah, like I 100% agree. I don't want to resent builder base. I don't want to feel forced to play
Yeah.
a game mode I'm not enjoying just for what's essentially an unrelated reward.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I wouldn't turn down an ore mine in the builder base at all. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah, no.
there are better paths to introduce more ore to the game, and there are better paths to get people more interested in builder base than just bribing them.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I feel like there's a lot of ways they could they just need to add more things to the builder base itself. Like, I feel like if they were to add, like challenges to people where like Clash Royale, it would put them all at an even level so they could actually play competitively instead of mismatched. That would be interesting, but I don't really see more demands as necessary.
Like as far as what it needs, I think it needs to address a lot of the problems we talked about, and then we go from there.
Yeah, for sure.
Remove all the stuff that just feels punishing and disheartening to experience. And as soon as people stop hating it, then let's work on ways for people to start loving it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I feel.
All right, cool. Let's try and get some practical advice out of you too before
Oh
we
boy, yeah.
get out of here. All right. You're one of the best builder race players in the world, season after season. I know you've made like your top finish is like what, number 2?
Number 4. But,
4? Oh, hey,
pretty
close.
pretty
That's
close.
close.
Like
Yeah.
I should have
Yeah.
been number 2 like every season probably.
Was it last season you said you might finish 2?
Yeah, last season I was number 2
You got
for
robbed?
maybe like the last. Nah, I didn't really get robbed. I was as well waiting on defenses because I couldn't really help it, so I didn't really take it too personally.
Yeah. All right.
So if there was no win trading, would you be number 1 then?
I'm definitely not like the best player in the world, but at least this season I feel like I have a shot at number 1 if I can just well, for one, I need to get rid of the win trading guy, but also I need to lock in a bit and practice more.
Make it
if
happen.
only I could get all these other
Yeah.
people banned, I would be number 1.
I know. If I can just all these people just keep really bothering me.
All right. No, so, but I guess what I was gonna say is, hey, like you are objectively one of the best builder based players in the world. Like, what is it? Like, what is it that you think sets you apart from someone who's just pretty good at builder base? Is there some kind of mindset or process or some skill you've developed that you think drives that success you're having?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think versatility is a really large part about it. Like, instead of just having, let's say, one strategy that I've really honed in on, I have multiple strategies. I know how to do most any strategy or combination of troops, and I know how to usually see when I can do them against bases. Right now, I'm kind of out of practice with that, but a lot of people just learn one strategy, and it's usually a spammy strategy, whereas I've really know life to the builder base to an extent where I know all the strategies and all the more high skill, heavy interaction strategies. So there is that. There's a lot of base recognition that you get to be able to say like, oh, this makes this base weaker to this approach, where a lot of people aren't going to see that. It's just it's a lot of experience and also knowing like when a certain approach is not going to work just based on your past experiences against bases. So it's a lot of experience, skill, and practice, which definitely sets me apart. And there's a lot of knowledge of interactions between buildings. Like I can tell you how many shots a cannon cart takes to take down every single building, which is really important to know. Yeah, it's just nerdy stuff like that, which allows me to excel.
I'm still fuzzy on like which defenses the cannon cart outranges.
Yeah, I can tell you that too.
Like, all right, but I guess on that note, like, hey, I'm the kind of player who really only touches it for builder base. Liam only touches it for builder base. I assume most of the people out there listening probably really only touch it for. I said builder base a bunch of times. I meant clan games.
Yeah, I thought so.
So, like, if I did want to start getting more out of my builder base experience beyond clan games challenges, like, where do I really need to start?
Well, I would say you obviously just need to pick one strategy and try and get good with that strategy. I think it's important to pick the right strategy, which I would say is just like two cannon carts and baby dragons, and then it's just there are some videos I have which give advice about it, but a lot of it is just kind of playing with them and figuring out like what approach works and what approach doesn't work. Like if you want to know what you need to do, you just want to use the cannon carts to funnel out specific buildings, and then with two baby dragons in the battle copter, just try and take down all the air defenses, or at least most of them at once. But that's obviously easier said than done. And it's just kind of practice trying to figure out what approach works, what interactions work against specific things, and I guess really hone into that. It's kind of hard to just learn on your own because again, it isn't intuitive. It's not like you're taking skills from the home village and transferring them into the builder base. But I don't necessarily think it's super difficult. I think it's just it's less fun at first because you're gonna do pretty bad. But I think that's important because in everything you do, you'll do really bad until you figure it out. That's the whole point of it, is to do it until you're good at it. Like I don't know why people think they're just naturally going to be great at it and then quit when they're not.
Like baby drags with a couple cannon carts mixed in, you think is a good starting point.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like one of the things I noticed with Home Village too is people will post on Reddit and they'll say like, "Hey, like I'm quitting this game. I'm tired of it. It's too boring and repetitive." And then you say like, "Okay, like what are you doing?" And they just say like, "I've only ever used e-drags and I've only ever farmed with sneaky gobs." So it feels like baby drags are kind of that troop for the builder base. So what would be a different kind of strategy that a newly interested player like myself could start exploring?
I mean, very easy. It'd just be P.E.K.K.A.s. I mean, they are spammy, but they also are they're very good. Like if you want to learn a really good P.E.K.K.A. strategy, you could use one that uses cannon carts. Cannon carts are I find them to be the most interesting troop because it allows you to come back from failure. But even if you just want to do like two giants, two bombers, two P.E.K.K.A.s, I mean, you can play that absolutely terribly and you'll still 6-star. All you got to do is just make sure your battle machine gets into the middle of the base with the level 3 ability. If the battle machine gets a level 3 ability, you're pretty much guaranteed to 6-star, or at least clear stage 1. You might fail stage 2, but yeah, P.E.K.K.A.s are just such a slam dunk attack strategy.
Okay, have you farmed up any new accounts lately?
I don't really have a very high up alt, and so I haven't really been farming one because I'll be honest, I'm very lazy. So that's why I like the builder base is because I don't need to farm, but I really want to. So I might actually start soon. But yeah, it's just such a painful progression. I just I haven't really.
Like I've only done one account partially through the first
Ooh.
stages of Builder Base 2.0. So all my other accounts that have the 6 builder, really I got those done in the old system too. So it always feels like there's like 3 kind of builder base players that you meet. There's brand new players, people who just want the 6 builder, and then people who already have the 6 builder and just mainly do playing games. Do you have any general advice for new players on how to get off to a good start?
Yeah, actually. So I think what's really important is if you're trying to upgrade with the idea of like trying to get to a place where you can trophy push successfully as fast as possible. I guess my advice, which would be a lot of people, I guess, don't say this, is there's some defenses that are important to focus and defenses that are absolutely useless. For one, a lot of walls aren't actually going to be important. Like, obviously, I would say upgrade walls, but you don't need to like worry as much about them. And also, firecrackers, cannons, multi-mortar, all those defenses when you get to higher levels are actually going to be very useless. So almost if you're like trying to strategically rush to push, just don't upgrade firecrackers, don't upgrade cannons, don't worry about the multi-mortar, just upgrade your archer towers, your Mega Tesla, air bomb, lava launcher, expo, giant cannon, roaster, and 2 double cannons, and those are the most important defenses. That's what I will be doing on my alt, just because I only really care about trophy pushing. But of course, if you aren't doing that, it's fine. Fine.
Do you think that following a lot of the like the 6 builder guides are a good jumping off point? Because there's no real downside to rushing in Builder Base, right?
Yeah, there's no downside to rushing. I think the six builder guides are typically like get baby dragons upgraded and just rush, and that's pretty correct. Baby dragons, just upgrade them because you can just use six baby dragons and rush. So I think those guides can be beneficial even if you aren't just trying to get the six builder.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna knock out your gear ups. It's gonna get you to the six builder, and then expanding from there has always felt like as long as Builder Base has existed, or at least as long as Auto existed, and now the Robot Builder, or whatever it is. So it's good to hear that hasn't really changed too much. All right, Liam has been collecting questions from our listeners this whole time. That's what he's been
Ooh.
doing instead of chiming in too much. So, Liam, do you have any good questions from our audience for Asher here?
Yeah, maybe we can do like rapid fire as well because there's a few. But so first up from Magic Junior, when is Builder Base getting equipment, and if so, is that such a great idea?
That's a terrible idea. I hope it never gets equipment. As I said, I don't really like how the home village focuses on the heroes as much. I feel like everything should be like a very, what's the right word? Everything should work together well, all be more balanced. It shouldn't like really rely on one thing. So, Magic, I hate you.
We all hate Magic.
Yeah.
We tell him every day.
He's been abusing the bot a lot to asking lots of questions to
Yeah,
troll
I
us.
saw.
All right, next question, also from Magic. If I had to bet my life on a Builder Base update this year, what are the odds?
On a major builder base update, I would say very low, but maybe I can convince them to remove the stage 2 reinforcement camp. I'm gonna say it's like a 30% chance. So yeah, maybe bet your life on it.
All right, fair. Will Builder Hall 11 have a weaponized town hall from Paradox?
So, obviously I can't give you a guaranteed answer, but I wouldn't mind seeing a weaponized town or builder hall or whatever. I don't think it's a terrible idea. Yeah, I definitely think it has a place.
We basically have that in stage two.
I think it'd be interesting actually, because in the builder base right now, always the builder hall's on the outside, which it has its purpose, but I wouldn't mind seeing it where it would be needed to be inside or be beneficial to have it inside. So I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
Would you like to see the Zappies change up?
Uh, I mean, maybe it would be interesting. Right now, I feel like the Zappies are they aren't like super strong. They can mess up an attack, but they aren't like crazy good or anything. So I wouldn't mind seeing them get a buff. Maybe just add two more or something.
Why are you such a firm believer that Builder Hall 11 is the answer to all our problems in Builder Base?
Magic, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Okay, well, Bitter Hall 11 is not the answer. The answer for all the problems in the Bitter base is again to fix the systemic issues, and so that's why I don't suggest Bitter Hall 11 is because I feel like if you just focus on adding another level, you're going to end up in the same problem we already have right now. Whereas if you just say, okay, Bitter Hall 10 is already pretty balanced, it already works pretty well, let's just focus on making the game itself more interesting rather than another level that's more important. Like when they added Clan Wars, let's say they were to add Town Hall 11 instead of when they added Clan Wars. Like obviously people are going to enjoy the Clan Wars more than they enjoy Town Hall 11 without Clan Wars. Yeah, I think it's more
Yeah.
important to add content rather than another level.
Yeah, and people get bored of the new content as well pretty
Yeah,
fast.
exactly.
What about controllable Builder Base heroes?
I think it's not good for the builder base because it doesn't really it's really overpowered and it doesn't really fit into the builder base itself. I think the concept was thrown out there just simply because it was like, hey, here's a niche idea, and the builder base already has some niche ideas. Maybe it would fit well there, but I think it would just be a weird gimmick that would kind of ruin the integrity of the builder base and make it just a really annoying thing to play. Like, I think it's more important to let the heroes work the way they currently do because then you could just like move your battle machine in a circle and get the level 3 ability, like that would just be so stupid. I would hate to see that.
Fair enough. And then the last two questions. What's your favorite troops, and do you have a favorite troop in the build base?
Yeah, definitely cannon carts. Cannon carts are just you can use them with any different troop. Like you can use cannon carts in Night Witches, cannon carts, Hog Gliders, cannon carts, and drop ships. Like they're just so versatile, and there's a lot of skill needed to learn them. But once you learn them, you can just like absolutely tear through bases with them. So I definitely would say they're my favorite.
There,
Nice.
there in the first builder base, there used to be like a range of town halls or builder halls where you could just drop all night witches in a corner and wreck base it. And but it like maybe that was builder hall 6, 7 ish. I think is where that was. But then you got to 8, and the defenses just overwhelmed it. So it was like a strategy that was super powerful, only in the middle, and then died out. Like, are witches useful at all now anymore?
Oh man, they're still used at the lower levels exactly like that, and they shouldn't be because if people just used good base layouts, that wouldn't be an issue. But people don't use good base layouts. I still see people asking like, "How do I defend witches?" Like they just keep destroying me, and then I'll just send them like an actual base link, and then it's no longer an issue. Witches are actually really solid up top though, but you got to use them like in combination with other troops.
There was a time on Reddit where like 5 times a day somebody would post, like a group of witches walking over a couple giant bombs from the
Oh
corner.
yeah.
And it's like I totally forgot about that, but I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while either. It has to be so satisfying. I never actually got that myself. Although, actually, the other day I did trap a guy who used two night witches by putting two bombs in two separate corners that killed both of them immediately. So I guess I have kind of done that recently, but they're not as prevalent anymore.
Was that one of the changes you made like specifically for a player?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's for I knew how he attacked the base, so I predicted he would do it, and I got him to fail.
Oh, nice.
And then maybe last question from the audience. What could make build a base relevant again? Maybe a clan thing, build a base war.
Yeah, I mean, I think builder-based wars would be really cool to see. I definitely would like to see them because they would help with progression, giving people more loot. It would also help people want to learn how to attack. It would actually have good matchmaking. So I could see that being a very good implementation. So I do think builder-based wars are probably the most obvious answer. I have suggested like tournaments and global tournaments like Clash Royale as well, but I definitely think if they were to do a nice little war type thing, maybe add ores for that, maybe add like a special tokens you can spend like Clan War League medals or something. I don't really know, but I think that would be a very good answer to solve progression, matchmaking, purpose, and just give people a reason to really play.
Like, can you imagine the chaos if they're just like if they dropped builder base wars on us and now like we're a clan of all near max town hall 17s, like we're
Yeah.
like we max our accounts, we focus on strategies, and I guarantee 3/4 of my clan has like just auto done, and that's it. And if
Just
they drop
destroyed.
they
Yeah.
drop war like builder base wars on us, it's gonna be chaos. Do we all stop and upgrade this for 4 months, or like just dive into it now and mess up our streak, or who knows?
I mean, if they would add like a way to make it easier to progress in the builder base with the wars, like more intentional. For one, man, I want them to change that so bad. Someone also suggested an endless mode to builder base where like you always get two reinforcement camps and then you just see how many stages you can clear. I thought that was an interesting idea. I don't know how it would feasibly work though.
Yeah, because you kind of need like at least with the current, it would take a lot of rebalancing.
Oh yeah.
Smaller, easier stages, but that could be interesting.
Yeah. Ah, man, I really want them to remove another reinforcement camp. I cannot wait to just destroy their Monday with that message.
Like how many surviving troops are you normally coming into stage 2 with?
Personally, I'll come to stage two usually with at least two cannon carts and one baby dragon, sometimes two baby dragons, and then like my hero. But a lot of people will just come to stage 2 with just like one cannon cart or one minion, like just some obscenely small amounts of troops, and then just dunk on you because they just bring two cannon carts stage 2 and take out the whole thing.
uh, I know, like after you tried to teach me builder base that time a couple months ago. I know that is one of the lessons that has kind of stuck is like trying to pay attention to what defenses are on the first stage and think about what I need to save more for the second. Oh, and then like the other tip I think you gave me that I'll tell everyone else, just to be okay having my cannon carts be useless, like let them serve a
Yep,
purpose and then keep them safe in a corner.
exactly.
That's really helped me out. I should try and like push over 5,000 for a season, just see how it goes.
Dude, I will teach you, like, probably. It's hard to teach you right now because you're up against such bad bases. Like, I know how to take them down, but I don't want to be like, yeah, bring one Electrifier Wizard, two Baby Dragons, and three Night Witches. Like, it's not going to make sense.
All right. So here's the deal. I will push my way back up to 5,000, and then
Fire.
I will try a season on my own, getting like as high as I can, and then
All
the
right,
season
yeah.
like the season after I will come in and and have Coach AJ here to try and get me further.
I'll see how much higher you can get the next season or what.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah, I can definitely rock with that.
and then if it works out, cool, dude. We'll come back and do a builder base push episode.
Fire. That's what I like to hear.
All right. I think that's gonna wrap it up unless Liam has anything else interesting.
All good.
All right. Thank you so much, man, for coming.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been great having you.
Yeah, I'm gonna link your YouTube channel, your Discord server. Your server has builder based layouts, right?
Oh yeah, we have all builder-based layouts, but mainly for Bitter All 10.
Everyone, check it out. It's code AJ in the shop. I'll promote you, so you don't have to feel like a shill for yourself, right? It is AJ,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I like to hear. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just code AJ.
That'd be embarrassing. Mess it up. What's with the J, dude? I meant to ask that like first thing.
Oh, so it's a Minecraft username. I was trying to get Asher, which is my real name, and that was taken. And so we all would do like stupid jokes where we would just put J's in the middle of words, like instead of bedtime, it would be bejed time. So and he's like, you should just put a J in it. I said, okay. So it also like the J is like silent in Spanish for like an H, so it's like Asher or whatever. But it definitely confuses people.
Yeah, it does. I know, like the first time, like there's probably like an episode 2 years ago where, like, because I know we did a lot of builder based episodes in the lead up to the revamp, and there's probably like five times of me saying like, oh yeah, I was watching this Asher guy.
Yeah, I mean, like judo called me Asher. Like everyone does.
It
Like, I
happens,
don't really
dude.
care, obviously. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a cost to the name. It also,
Oh,
I guess, works though because it's like A and J, which is just a happy accident.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you again. Thank you so much for taking all this extra time, especially when you're feeling sick, dude. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you want to hit before we call it?
No, I guess just you guys should play the builder base. It's great. Trust.
It is February. We don't know exactly when the update's coming. They have told us an update is coming in February. Next time you see us, it'll be the update episode. So keep an eye out on the server here for an announcement on when that's coming. We'll probably not announce it till sneak peek start, just to not go ahead and get sued. But that's always my top priority, is not getting kicked out of the NDA program. But yeah, we will see you in 1 to 4 weeks, depending. Take it easy. Say bye, Liam.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, come on, say it with some meaning.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Yeah, I'm only gonna put that one in. I'm not gonna put me
No.
chiding you.
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna say bye. I'm gonna leave it my bye, and then you're just gonna be like, bye, everyone.
Every time you make me look bad, you cut out like all the funny parts, and then you just make me look like an idiot.
I never cut out funny stuff you said. That's never happened. Yeah, okay. I think that dead air is that dead air is it. I'm gonna cut it there.
See ya, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, let me stop this.
See y'all.
Yeah. Thanks again, man. Take it easy.
Get some soup. See y'all.